you've labelled Operation Sanctuary has moved on over the last 7 days, and the total number of arrests that we're currently at is 30, and that's 28 men and 2 women. That moved on from 27 that were arrested last week in the first phase by a further 3 this week, and that followed another allegation of rape in which an adult female in her 20s felt confident and brave enough to come into the police station in the early hours of the morning earlier this week and make an allegation of rape, which resulted in 3 further arrests. What we're in a position to talk about now is the number of victims.
A very good afternoon to you, Dr. Anand here with my eternal friend Ali. Ali, hi. It's nice to have you in the studio. We are talking about a very untouchable topic. I just said there were untouchables in India. Some people still treat them badly. But there are topics that are untouchable. People are so scared about speaking the truth. But I'm so glad you are here. You know all about this stuff, and we discuss it privately. Aviations, how ashamed we are. What's your point of view on this? I'll fade it out.
Good afternoon to all of our listeners, wherever they are, in Northeast, in Newcastle, or in India and Pakistan. I'm today sitting here in multiple capacities. I'm not sitting here as an anchor person or a presenter. I'm sitting here as a Muslim. I'm sitting here as someone who has worked as Muslim chaplain. I'm sitting here as someone who has felt that he has a responsibility as a British citizen, British Asian, to come and speak about this. I'm sitting here as a human being who feels that this sort of activity, child sex grooming, is not permissible under any scenario, in any case.
Whether you look under Islam or Newcastle or human being or Pakistani or Indian, it's just wrong, full
stop. The reason being is, if you are trying to justify that, well, there are people who are non-Muslims and they are doing this in Muslim lands,
so let's take out the revenge on them.
That's a crap. Because this started 20 years ago, and it has got some roots in the drug stuff that has been going on. It is the work of those who have been in this crime setup for a long time, who have earned money, who have got the connections, who have got this increasing desire in them to engage into all sorts of criminal activities for a long time. So they can't justify these things on the basis of something that is political, something that is happening somewhere else. Full stop. The second thing which I would like to say to those viewers who do not know about Islam, in Islamic text it is very clear, and somebody who has studied Islam would know that actually the punishment, there is a capital punishment for those who indulge in such activities in Islam.
So what you're saying is those people are very, very, very lucky to be in Britain.
They are indeed. The other bit that I want to point out is that at the time of the Prophet, somebody came and said, I can stop everything wrong, but I cannot stop myself from having illicit sex. And could you just allow me that? And it is written in the books that Prophet did not ask him that, oh, it is against this or that. He only asked him a simple question: would you allow this if someone comes and asks the same permission for your daughter, for your mom,
so put
for
yourself
your sister?
In the shoes of
put yourself in the shoes of somebody else, and you will know it as a human that it is so disgraceful that it can't be allowed.
So he was seeking the Prophet, the Holy Prophet's permission.
Yes.
It just shows how blind people and stupid people can be.
Yes. The thing is, when something takes over you,
Shaitan,
devil, you call it evil, whatever name whichever way you like to name it. This does not have anything to do with Islam. When I was serving as a Muslim chaplain in Ecklinton, I remember some of them were convicted of rape and stuff like that. And I was used to quote them from Quran, that Quran says, when somebody has committed adultery, he is no more Muslim. He needs to repent and enter into Islam again.
Wow.
And this is my interpretation.
It's like throwing the Bible at the devil.
Yes. And
well done.
And they were used to get shocked that how,
you know so much.
How can this happen? And I was used to quote them the verse exactly. That it is said, those who have got into this stuff, they have forgot
who
the Lord is. And if you are in front of the Lord, how can you treat another creature in such a demeaning and such a heinous way?
May I now ask Simon Kitchen, a young man of 32 only, who is the next Conservative candidate for the part of the world where this is happening in our patch of the world, central Newcastle. Welcome to the show, Simon.
Thanks, Doc. It's a great pleasure to be here. Thank you.
You've heard what's going on. You know what's going on. What can one do about it? How should we as society deal with it?
Well, no stone should be left unturned. I mean, we've seen what's happened in Rotherham, where these issues have been allowed to fester for a long time, and it's led to horrendous stories about abuse
for years.
And I mean, the stories coming out about local authorities and the police turning a blind eye is
why do they do it? Do they say, oh, these people from the east, it's okay, that's how they are? Do they say it's part of the culture? Do they say it's part of the religion? Are the police scared to be not politically correct? Are they scared of Asians saying, oh, it's a racist? There's all these elements there, isn't it?
I mean, I can't speak on their behalf, so I don't know, but I mean, those things seem to make sense. I think all those kind of reasons come together, and I think the focus should be on the victims,
crime and the victim.
I think it should be around listening to those victims and finding out ways that those things could have been reported sooner, and that those who are in authority who did hear about those stories should have acted upon them. I mean, it's a terrible crime. The crime committed by those abusing those predominantly young women
and very vulnerable people.
Very
I mean, the
vulnerable.
policeman makes a beautiful speech. The Northumbria Police spokesperson, whoever he is, he speaks exceptionally well, and he says the common theme is not religion, the common theme is not culture, the common theme is not even geography. It's vulnerable people who might be an alcoholic, whose parents have just split up. Some young girl of 15, her parents are split up. She's looking for affection, love, like a child. And somebody gives her a mobile phone, gets her a bit tipsy, takes her to an undisclosed address, and 5 of these men, these animals, have sex with her. I mean, what is this? This is planned rape. It's as bad as the Delhi rape, where those 4-5 men raped that single girl. It's so pathetic. And I feel very angry and sad that humans can be such savages.
It's a complete abuse of power, isn't it? Both by those who turned a blind eye, but also for those people who perpetrate the crimes and who groomed those
perpetually.
women.
I mean, I'm not here to say once is fine, one night. I'm not even saying that. Things can happen, but this you can't. This perpetual, and as my friend here rightly pointed out, is ganda money, is dirty money, is haram ka money.
Yes.
To use the Islamic term,
Indeed.
haram ka money will take you to haram work.
Yeah.
Because ill-gotten gains will take you to ill-gotten behavior.
Well, I will tell you that from my experience, these people who engage into such things, they don't have any sound basis in Islam at all. When I was used to engage with them in the prison, I would always discover that they have no understanding of basic tenets of Islam, like Quran or like how to pray, whether they would remember even the smallest part of Quran.
And remember and understand and actually act it out.
So I was used to tell them that you have actually you are facing 2 issues here. You need to learn how to become a good citizen, and you need to learn how to become a good Muslim. So
I love the way you said good citizen, because a lot of people forget that we are in Britain, and we should look at some of the good things that happen here. And the freedom we have and the love we have, especially in the Northeast, we are very lucky.
I mean, it is shocking that when I spoke with the community people, there were people who acknowledged that they knew about this before the police would actually arrest these people. So the thing is, where comes this element of responsibility?
Yes.
I equate this to something which is happening by Boko Haram or somewhere else in other parts of the world.
No different?
It's no different, where the women being treated as the weaker gender,
misogyny,
are subjugated, and they are misused just because they can't
women
go
and
out
weak and can't fight back.
They can't fight back.
Okay.
So the thing is, the community should have taken the lead.
Yes.
Instead of BNP or EDL
bringing it up,
taking the lead now,
as if we collude with it.
Misusing it to say that there is probably some jihad is going on in this island, and Muslims are trying to create this rape. This sort of child sex grooming cannot be equated to anything with Islam.
Okay, we are also looking for calls 273-9888 or 0044191. 273-9888, because we've got listeners in Spain, I believe. I've got Billy here, who's a movie maker, and as I say, he's not the Teen Tal movie maker, but he's another movie maker. I'd like to introduce you to that Shakirul Alam, who's made a movie. I'll tell you after the show. So what do you feel about all this? You look like a very angry, passionate man who makes movies. How do you feel about all this, what you've heard just now?
My emotions are all over the place at the moment.
You're very disturbed.
I don't know where to go on this. One of the thoughts that went through my mind when the gentleman next to you, forgive me sir for getting
Ali Mahmood.
spoke so eloquently and so passionately about the subject, the thought that went through my mind is, okay, people are starting to realise things, people are starting to talk, which is definitely good. I think everyone here agrees. How do we move on? What do we do next?
First of all, we say it's wrong. The first thing we say, it's wrong. If we don't say it's wrong, that means we are saying it's right.
So, having established that, how do you punish?
Well,
what do you do to...
Well, okay, we'll come to that. I had many people phone me. Some people said, castrate them. So I said, well, castration, genetically cutting things off is not what I can do, but I can easily put a female hormone into them. There's a hormone that prevents women's pimples because it cuts down the progesterone.
Really?
If these men get that injection implant for 10 years, their behavior will change. And this country is so stupidly politically correct. I'm happy to put the implant. They won't feel like sex. It's not that they can't have a hard-on, but they won't feel like sex. It'll drive them. Or you lock them and throw the keys away. Or I'll open a jail in India, in Goa, where they can live happily at a cheaper price. But why should the taxpayer pay for these people's ill-gotten gains being used to abuse young girls, and I pay for the privilege of them being in jail?
Yeah, it's quite sick, isn't it?
It's the whole thing, the whole cycle is sick, you know. I work jolly hard, even pay taxes most of the time. For these guys to go to jail and spend 30,000, I mean, how much does it cost to keep a prisoner? You tell me.
It was used to be more than £700 a week.
£700 a week I don't earn.
About 10 years ago. So put the recession and inflation in it will be more. Yeah. And the trouble is the prisons are already overburdened, and they were merging different prisons so that they can allow more people to come in, and they were building new prisons as well. I think the prison is something, or the sentencing is something that Ministry of Justice needs to look at.
Yes.
As a community show and as a community
social people,
we first need to ask the community leaders.
Yes. They won't
within
speak.
Asian community, within Muslim community, to come forward.
Okay. I invite Taj Malik Sahab from the big mosque. I invite the Bishop of Durham, the All Faiths Council people. I invite Hari Shukla to come on the show and talk about this. I'm inviting you, sirs, to speak about the topic. It's all right to go once a year on a 3-hour march, but when the community misbehaves or parts of it and we don't talk, that means we are agreeing with it. It's simple as that, you know. Because when there's a tough subject like Angelou Center, they don't come to any meetings of the Angelou Center. So they don't take up any issue that's slightly controversial. As long as it's cozy, it's fine. So I don't agree with that.
Anand, I would view this whole issue, as I've said earlier and I have indicated, I see a parallel like terrorism. People kept on ignoring it till it reached UK. Yes. And then we woke up to what sort of issue we were looking at, and the magnitude was higher than expectation. There were people who were getting swayed away by internet, and it's now, I think it's too late to try to stop internet access and these kind of things. It's better that we become more vigilant, we become more active in stopping these things at the beginning, at the grassroots level.
There's a phone call. Thank God for that. Hello, caller. Who's that, please?
This is Nabila. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Speak a bit louder. I've got you on full volume. Just speak a little louder, please. Bole.
I just phoned you this morning because everyone is in the opinion that if someone is not protesting against these people, this means they are actually agree, and they think whatever is happened is okay.
We're listening. Go on. Yeah.
But I believe, I disagree with this, what you are saying. It's not like that. The thing, I am Muslim, and every time when you put news in the paper and you say, Muslims done that, and I'm shocked, oh, stop, Nabila, I'm Muslim. How I could be happy to do this. If media and people stop blaming other Muslims, it will be more easy and comfortable for us to come on the road and say, hang these people, burn these people, send them to the hell. But please, keep us away from those stupid son of bitch Muslims who have committed this adultery and other stuff. Okay?
Thank you. What a wonderful comment. What a brave lady. Thank you very much. The headline I'll read to you is Police in Swoop on 45 more men over child sex grooming. Milestone operation sees dozens of Asian suspects charged with rape, sexual assault and trafficking. But I'm very grateful for your comment and I'm so pleased it's a
not
woman.
regarding one
Lovely.
newspaper. It's not regarding about the police. If you go through different newspaper, you will find they even quoted to pick those verses of Qurans which are not actually linked with that. So
Oh, I see.
please
Just to make Muslims
stop-
look bad. Yes, okay.
Stop defaming us.
Yes,
Stop
right.
spoiling the image of Islam.
Yes.
And we are with British government, with British people. We are here.
Fantastic. That's a
We
lovely
don't
voice.
support them.
That's a lovely voice. Not
Thanks
only.
a lot.
Fantastic. Thank you for your call, madam. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. So that's a call from a young lady, Muslim lady, who's saying quite the right things. I mean, media does pick on people.
Well, I would say that when we are doing the census form or when we are registering to the local council, there are, data which ask your ethnic background and your religious affiliations. So I don't see that media always creates negative stereotypes. But the thing is, you have to put some sort of identity.
No.
I mean-
When a white person goes
Yes.
and steals something, if Simon goes and steals something, a car, for instance, he looks at the type who put it. But it won't say white man steals car because there are lots of white people in the studio. In fact, it's funny, we've got 6 white blokes in the studio on that side and 2 brown boogers sitting on this side.
This is what is the
Yes.
actual
Okay,
population.
if Simon steals a car, it'll say young man steals a car. What would it say if you stole a car?
Well, it probably should say that.
Nabila would say that it'll say Muslim man steals a car. And me might say Hindu or doctor steals a car. I think let's look for an angle.
Yeah. I think I would disagree on one point and agree on the other, specifically, because media has to see the thing in a wider context.
Yes.
Right.
That is
as
true.
our MP2B has rightly pointed
Simon
out.
Kitchen, huh?
As Simon has rightly pointed out, the thing is, this started not from this place. It has been happening at other pockets as well.
Well, Rotherham is a very famous
Rotherham, and then Halifax,
Rochdale?
then Rochdale, and now here. And unfortunately, all of them happen to be from ethnic minority background.
But we should attack it head on and not be defensive about it. Because on Facebook, I've got people who happen to be Muslim, who happen to be connected with spies, who say, excuse me, in Bristol, 6 white men were caught doing it. So?
I don't think that the issue here is black or white. The
Or
issue
religion.
Or religion. The issue here is
It's a crime.
that there has been a crime which has been taking place for so long.
Yes.
It took police for so long to take an action, and then it is taking even longer for the community to come up and say that we won't let it happen again.
Well, on Monday, when we got the first wind, you and I mentioned it. Wednesday, I thought, will you wait for next
The
year?
music show.
Huh.
Predominantly, and it would not fit in. It is
Yeah.
such a strong topic that it would have been destroyed
It's so
by
important.
just sandwiching it
Yes.
in between
But
couple of music
the
clips.
topic is so important, people ignore it. There's an elephant in the room and nobody can see it.
And indeed. I think that the lady on the phone was quoting BNP website,
Okay.
which has done this. What she was saying.
Oh, to kuch karenge hi. That's their job.
But the thing is, there is a void in the politics which has been left open, which is being filled by likes of
BNP, because we don't speak.
If Muslim Council of Britain will come forward,
Yes.
and if Muslim Association of Britain will come forward, or if the local imams of Newcastle will come forward and
Yes.
say this has nothing to do with Islam,
And we are against it.
and we are against it, and we actually our religion
Completely
says that
is against this,
these
yes.
people
Are
should have a
non-Muslim.
social boycott.
I guess, Ali, what you're saying is that Islam is the solution, not the problem. If these had been better Muslims, they would never have committed these
If
crimes.
there were better people, better Muslims,
yes.
better Asians, better whatever.
Yeah,
That's what I said earlier, that in the prison I was used to tell them we have got 2 momentous tasks. One, to make you a better citizen of Britain, and the second is to make you a better human and a better Muslim. Because you were born in a Muslim family, but you never embraced Islam the way it should have been. Because by saying Shahada you don't become Muslim, you are known as a Muslim with your actions.
Not
Your
by the label you have and the name you have.
I mean, tell me any verse in Quran or any verse in anything in Hadith which says that a Muslim can remain a Muslim when he commits these crimes, such as rape and this, and then he has no remorse.
Okay,
and he
one punishment I can think of for Elisa, Mosavi, Monjur, Chaudhary, Ridwan, Siddiqui is to call them John Smith.
No, I think that will be. I disagree. I know you have taken it in a light way.
I'm taking it in a light way, but how dare they go around blasting their Muslim name and do anti-Muslim crime?
No,
is what I'm saying.
The thing is, that sort of that if they were so intelligent and if they were so reasonable and thinking people, why would they engage in drugs?
In this
because most of them are involved in the drugs as well.
But that's the other thing. In Islam, alcohol is forbidden because that is what was available at that time. But sleeping tablets are anti-Islamic. To my view, benzodiazepines, cocaine, heroin, smoking, they're all drugs. Whatever was available, the holy...
I would challenge you to not to speak about Islamic fiqh. It is something so deep. Even I would...
Well, I would also like to unmask people because I've done it with my patients.
No, why I say this is that the only drugs which are barred in Islam are those which take you into a different world where you lose your senses.
Alcohol?
And obviously...
Heroin, morphine?
Yeah, exactly. What is classed as drug C class and B class, which are not allowed in most part of the world in any case. If you possess them or if you grow them or sell them.
So alcohol was the... Angur ki beti was available then.
Yeah.
But heroin wasn't around then.
And people...
Ecstasy wasn't around then.
We will go slightly out of the track if we will start talking about the Islamic basis of prohibition of drugs.
But what I want to do is, everyone's allowed to talk about Islam, not just Muslims.
No, but don't give fatwa.
No.
That is a dangerous thing to start doing on a radio show.
I'd rather have a fatwa than be a coward and die every day.
No. While I feel that I can speak on behalf of Muslims due to my position and I won't call it
education.
Status.
Yeah, education.
I'm not bothered about status. I think every Muslim is entitled to talk about Islam because this is the choice they make. And Islam says in Quran that when you are asked to give shahada, witness, shahada is witness as well. When you are asked to give witness, be honest in your witness.
Beimani na karo.
You should not be dishonest because you knew somebody and he was close to you.
And you allowed him to do bad things.
And you allowed him to do
then
something
you're party
bad.
to it.
And it goes even further that if you have seen somebody doing something wrong and you do not stop him, you are part of it.
Yeah. Okay, can I ask some of the other people, what do you think should be done? I mean, those who are away from the mic, come close to the mic. We've got lots of voices. Come on.
Malcolm, to start with. Malcolm, what are your views?
Well, first of all...
Don't touch the mic. It's very risky. It blows up. It's got a grenade inside it. Okay. What do you think?
Well, first of all, we have a situation that years ago, I know it wasn't easy to do. But if, as you say, no matter what religion a person belongs to, one is indoctrinated in the right things, like values, proper behavior, telling the truth, obeying the law. All of these things are very, very, very important. Doing what is right.
So right for yourselves, right for humanity, right for your next door neighbor.
Right.
What is good for society.
What is good for society.
Yes. Where you're living.
Yes.
In the country you're living, in the postcode you're living.
And whatever other place you go to.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. We all have responsibility for whether we're in the country or out of the country or traveling to do what is right.
Yes.
So we are ambassadors.
Okay.
Both in our own country and in other people's country.
Okay. We have just a few more minutes on this part of the thing and then we'll go into the movie part. What do you think, sir? Speak up.
I think it's an absolutely awful, horrible crime. And I think these people should be put in prison, doesn't matter what religion they are.
Yes.
And I think the victims should be given as much support by any religion, neighbours, friends. The police should come down as hard as they can on them.
Here.
And it doesn't matter. It's the victims that need the support.
That's right.
These perpetrators of this horrible, awful thing, it could be my daughter, it could be my neighbour's daughter, it could be a sister. It's such and it's getting worse and worse and worse. We need our magistrates to come down really hard and literally put these people away and throw the key away. Society.
Would you say that in this country we are more bothered about the criminal than the victim?
In a lot of cases, I've got to say yes. But the police, I've got to say it, doesn't matter where, Rotherham, Newcastle, Sunderland, Middlesbrough, the police do their best, but they're facing cuts left, right and centre. But this horrible trafficking, it's in all the papers, people suspect people. It's got nothing to do at all with religion. It's more to do with horrible,
greed,
rotten,
violence,
awful,
rape.
nasty, vile people.
Okay, and what's your name, sir?
My name's Chad Nicholas.
Charles Nicholas.
Chad.
Chad Nicholas, welcome. And you are welcome every Wednesday.
Thank you.
Now, you speak up, sir. What's your name?
I'm William Johnson, William Scott Johnson.
William Scott Johnson. What do you see? How do you see all this evolving?
Well, I can't understand the point of view of people who would do something like that, you know.
So you can't understand them?
Yeah, well...
Would you like to understand them?
Not really.
Can you understand them? I can't.
Well...
But the thing is whether I understand or not. Listen, if Hitler's mother didn't breastfeed him, so he killed 6 million Jews, it doesn't justify it.
Yes.
So understanding is for the psychiatrist rubbish. I'm not bothered. You misbehave, I'll kill you.
Oh,
You're
yes.
good to me, I love you.
Yes, yes.
You know, that's what we are in a society. Little things, say you're my friend. One day you make a mistake. I say, yeah, you're such a nice fellow. What's happened? You say, oh, my dog has died. Then I can forgive it one day. But if every day you're a miserable sod, why would I talk to you?
Yes, yes.
So it's a bit like that. We can't understand them. We don't want to understand them. Maybe they should have treatment. Maybe they should have injections. But your point is very strong that we should look after the victims, because how many years, if one girl is raped once, her whole life is destroyed forever. If somebody is perpetually treated like this, that girl of 14, will deep inside her heart think love equals rape.
If we don't stop it, it doesn't matter which country it happens in, or what area, or what town, it'll get worse, it'll become endemic, it'll be classed as second nature to some of these people.
Yes.
And literally, they should literally, I think, in some cases, even bring them back and just shoot them.
I
being
have
honest,
no problem with capital punishment. I work very hard to earn my living. I don't want my money wasted on these morons who cost £700 a week.
Well, I don't think generally society would miss them. If they're convicted of rape of a child of 4 or 8, they should literally throw the key.
Hello, caller. Who's that, please? Hello, caller. Who's that, please?
Hi, Doc. It's Ifti here.
Hello, Ifti. Fire away.
Just listening to the last 5 minutes of the conversation.
Yeah.
You know, I'm getting a bit tired of this notion that, you know, religion has to be brought into everything that's seen to be bad.
Uh-huh.
You know, I just get a bit fed up with it. I'm glad that Mr. Ali made the points that he made, and I think it was Nicholas who said that it's nothing to do with the religion.
Yeah.
See, these crimes are like a cancer in society,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Cancer, when it attacks the body, it doesn't decide what religion the body is, or what racial group it is, or what ethnicity
Yes,
it
absolutely
is,
correct.
right?
Huh.
So if we treat it like that, but unfortunately, you see, you know, you were saying about people becoming defensive. Yes, I will be defensive. I will be defensive about my religion because, A, my religion doesn't endorse it. If people do it, it's not because they do it because they're from a religion. It's because they're criminals.
Okay, so
Right?
just stop there. I'll just read 20 names.
We don't have to apologize for being Muslim,
don't.
right?
But if you look at the papers, Musawi, Chaudhry, Siddiqui, Hassan, Minoi, Ali, Rahim, Russell, Khalik, Azram, Aslam, Nelly, Alam, Hussain, Zaman, Hussain, Sabe, Muhammad, Islam, Uddin are the surnames of the 20 people.
Yes. Well, yeah, but the papers fail to mention the 150 surnames which are not Muslims who are also part of grooming gangs.
So what you're doing exactly what people do on Facebook. You're being defensive.
You know, this is selective reporting, right? Yes, there are people from the Muslim community who commit crimes.
The Muslim community is only 4% of the nation. The Muslim, listen.
But unfortunately, the media bias chooses to highlight only those crimes.
No. If you're in the minority, you have an extra duty to be careful. As an Indian doctor, I've always had to be better and more careful to survive this country. Okay? Let me have a word in as well occasionally.
Let me tell you something. That's poppycock.
We've labelled Operation Sanctuary has moved on over the last 7 days, and the total number of arrests that we're currently at is 30, and that's 28 men and 2 women. That moved on from 27 that were arrested last week in the first phase. by a further 3 this week, and that followed another allegation of rape in which an adult female in her 20s felt confident and brave enough to come into the police station in the early hours of the morning earlier this week and make an allegation of rape which resulted in 3 further arrests. What we're in a position to talk about now is the number of victims.
A very good afternoon to you, Dr. Anand here with my eternal friend Ali. Ali, hi. It's nice to have you in the studio. We are talking about a very untouchable topic. I just said there were untouchables in India. Some people still treat them badly. But there are topics that are untouchable. People are so scared about speaking the truth. But I'm so glad you are here. You know all about this stuff, and we discuss it privately. Aviations, how ashamed we are. What's your point of view on this? I'll fade it out.
Good afternoon to all of our listeners, wherever they are, in Northeast, in Newcastle, or crime setup for a long, long time, who have earned money, who have got the connections, who have got this increasing desire in them to engage into all sorts of criminal activities for a long, long time. So they can't justify these things on the basis of something that is political, something that is happening somewhere else. Full stop. The second thing which I would like to say to those viewers who do not know about Islam, in Islamic text it is very clear, and somebody who has studied Islam would know that in India and Pakistan. I'm today sitting here in multiple capacities. I'm not sitting here as an anchor person or a presenter. I'm sitting here as a Muslim. I'm sitting here as someone who has worked as Muslim chaplain. I'm sitting here as someone who has felt that he has a responsibility as a British citizen, British Asian, to come and speak about this. I'm sitting here as a human being who feels that this sort of activity, child sex grooming, is not permissible under any scenario, in any case.
Whether you look under Islam or Newcastle or human being or Pakistani or Indian, it's just wrong. Full
stop. The reason being is, if you are trying to justify that, well, there are people who are non-Muslims and they are doing this in Muslim lands,
so let's take out the revenge on them.
That's a crap, because this started 20 years ago and it has got some roots in the drug stuff that has been going on. It is a work of those who have been in this